Dexter Morgan is alive. 10 weeks after being shot by his own son, he wakes from a coma, weak, hunted, and barely able to walk. But Dexter's resurrection wastes no time reminding us that if his body was broken, his mind was never gone. This is episode 1, A Beating Heart, and here's what happened. The episode opens in a surgery room at the Seneca Tribe Clinic, but Dexter is dreaming and finds himself in a liminal space, in a sequence very reminiscent of Dickens' Christmas Carol, so much so that Dexter makes a direct reference to it later on. He is visited by 3 important adversaries from his blood-soaked past. The main difference from the beloved Victorian story is that in this case there are 4 visitors, and it seems the first visitor is the least forgiving, with the last one being the most encouraging, sort of. First, Arthur Mitchell, the Trinity Killer, questions Dexter about what he did to Harrison by asking him to shoot him and blaming him over himself for Rita's death and Harrison's possible dark path. Arthur whispers to him about suffering, redemption, and what it takes to truly resurrect. "You tried to have it all," Arthur tells him, "but you already know who you really are." Essentially, the Trinity Killer is trying to discourage Dexter from trying to have a family and blaming that desire for all the innocent victims caught in the fight. Given that Trinity is just a figment of Dexter's subconscious and was perhaps the greatest among his foes, it's clear why he was picked to endorse the argument of a lonely path as the best choice for a serial killer, even one with a code. Immediately after, we see Dexter in a cemetery in broad daylight, talking to Miguel Prado, whose demeanor is more compassionate. He looks genuinely happy to talk to his old friend, and our dark hero says he was happy with him when he could, for the first time, truly be himself in the presence of another person. Miguel praises the nobility of what Dexter does and the lives he has saved by taking out serial killers, but he ends up on the same note as Trinity, saying his path is a lonely path and that innocents get caught in his way, while gesturing at gravestones with the names of Deborah, Maria Laguerta, and Rita. Meanwhile, Harrison is trying to build a normal life in New York. He's passed his GED, holds a job at the Empire Hotel, and seems liked by both guests and co-workers. But under the surface, he's unraveling. He's plagued by flashbacks to Iron Lake, specifically the moment he shot his own father. Guilt gnaws at him, and the instincts his dad warned him about, they're still there. The episode makes it clear. Harrison hasn't escaped the past. It's inside him. Enter Shauna, a new arrival from Iowa and a guest at the hotel. She's clearly friendly and vulnerable. The focus moves back to Dexter, who is visited by Harry's ghost this time. Dexter is happy to see him and says he has nothing to live for. His original mentor convinces him that he does have something to live for and that his son needs him. He also suggests that Brian Moser became a monster because he grew up without a father, implying that the same thing could happen to Harrison. The last ghost shows up in Dexter's clinic room, a sign that he is about to wake up from the coma. Sergeant Doakes greets him like he did back in the days, but in a surprising turn of events, he admits to being wrong about Dexter being evil, and that deep down, beneath the creepy Bay Harbor butcher stuff, there is a kernel of good. Dexter Morgan finally wakes up from the coma. Back in New York, a man named Ryan Foster tries to take Shauna upstairs, pretending to be her husband and that she is just drunk. Harrison senses something's wrong. He intervenes, and when he realizes that Ryan roofied her, something inside him snaps. He kills Ryan quickly, brutally, without hesitation. What follows is a panicked cleanup job. Harrison uses the techniques Dexter taught him: disposal, containment, and masking the scene. He even knows how to tie the bags, but he is not his father, not yet. The next morning, sanitation workers at the docks discover the dismembered remains in a pile of garbage bags. Police officers Wallace and Oliva arrive on scene. Wallace immediately loses patience with the workers, but her focus sharpens when she sees how the pieces are wrapped and cut. Something about this isn't just a random killing, it's surgical, intentional. Dexter, in the meanwhile, is awake, but barely mobile. An officer delivers a letter from Angela Bishop, the woman who shot him, allegedly, in Iron Lake. Attached is a photo with a single line scribbled on the back: "We're even, now get the hell out of Iron Lake." Dexter doesn't report her. He's not interested in justice. He's focused on Harrison and what might have happened in the time he was unconscious. Then Angel Bautista arrives, suspicious and unsmiling. He reminisces about Deborah, Miami Metro, and the old days. But when the conversation turns towards Maria LaGuerta and Angela, Bautista reveals the truth. Both women believed Dexter was the Bay Harbor butcher, and now he seems to do as well. Bautista has rescinded Dexter's death certificate, not out of mercy, out of distrust. He wants to catch Dexter in the act. Dexter, meanwhile, hears about the body found in New York, a known sexual predator, dismembered with surgical precision in 9 parts, just like he taught his son. He doesn't need proof. He knows Harrison killed him, and Harrison is following the code. Dexter escapes the clinic, evading Bautista. He's heading to New York, not to kill, at least not yet. He's going to find Harrison and talk to him. Before the episode ends, we are introduced to a new character, played by the iconic Uma Thurman. She is shown to enter into an apartment without breaking anything and search it until she finds a folder of killed trophies, false ceiling, and she leaves money and an invitation inside. Episode 1 ends not with a twist, but a slow unraveling. Dexter reaches New York on the truck he stole and sees his son outside the hotel he works for. Dexter is alive. Harrison has killed. The legacy of the code, the need to kill only those who deserve it, is no longer just Dexter's. The cycle didn't break, it passed on. This first episode does a fantastic job at tying some loose ends from New Blood and in merging the follow-up show stylistically and thematically with the original show in what seems to be a fresh but exciting new direction. To be honest, I had different ideas about where Resurrection would take its titular character. It seemed almost impossible for Dexter to get a clean slate again after Angela ousted him as the Bay Harbor butcher, and I wrongly expected him to be rescued by some sort of secret organization who would turn him into an asset. But no, he is free to do his own thing once again. I also think it probably wants to quietly show us characters that might play key roles not only in the remainder of the first season, but in what I expect to be an inevitable continuation into further seasons. Detective Wallace is framed, in my opinion, not as a forgettable cop whose skills Dexter Morgan will easily best. In fact, she is portrayed as one of the many mildly autistic and acutely perceptive investigators we've seen in several past procedural shows, but in a more realistic way, and I believe she will pose the greatest challenge ever in Dexter's dark path. Bautista is the only main character from Miami Metro who functioned as a moral grounding for our dark hero, and it's hard to foresee from this first episode in what capacity he will participate in the story's unfolding, but I seriously doubt the producers and writers are going to waste the opportunity to make him a key player again. As for Uma Thurman's character, for some reason I don't have a hard time seeing her as a potential ally for Dexter and Harrison. Perhaps even a romantic interest for our favorite serial killer down the line, but we will have to wait and see. So that was Dexter Resurrection Episode 1, A Beating Heart, fully recapped. If you thought the Bay Harbor Butcher story ended in Iron Lake, think again. New videos are coming for every episode, and a full theory breakdown will follow after this first season, fingers crossed, is over. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who's your favorite new character in this roster? And pretty please, no spoilers past episode 1 for those who haven't seen the following ones yet. The heart is beating again, but whose hands will it stain?